Hello, hi, good morning. So I would like to share with you several things about AI, and everyone keeps talking about AI. It feels like, and let me see if I have the slide here. Okay, yes. So everywhere you go, there is AI. Every stand you see at MWC, there is AI. If there is no AI, it feels like there is something wrong with this company. And AI is in the news, AI is everywhere. There is so much noise that sometimes it is really difficult to keep up. What I would like to share today is some of the practical applications. We started with AI 3 years ago in 2021, and talking about the benefits and efficiencies that AI brings 3 years ago was completely different from what it is today. I would like to share with you the journey of GenAI that companies are going through right now, and trying to remove that hype and that noise and actually talk about the practical applications. There are two core things. One is the use cases, and the other one is the issues, the hurdles that companies are facing with when they are integrating AI into their workflows. There are a couple of things that I also wanted to add in terms of the hype side of things. AI is still new, even though as technology, everyone knows that it's been there for years, but the key adoption was because of GenAI. It is super important to choose the right partner and to choose the right company that you are working with, because adding AI to the overall agenda does not really make everyone an expert. Sometimes I feel like I want to write so much on social media and say, no, this is not true, this is not possible. When a large company will say that they have 45,000 data analysts and developers, that's not true. So let's be realistic in terms of what's possible and what can be done. There are two core things that are important to remember when you start looking at how and when and where to apply AI in your everyday workflow. One is, and that's actually fundamental, that you can teach AI anything that you would like it to know, or pretty much anything. And think about this. Then it becomes your co-worker, co-intelligent partner, co-partner. And then once you have the AI model that knows anything that you would like it to know, then you can turn this into so many opportunities and so many applications and use cases. It is not easy, it is not a one-click application, but that's the key thing to remember. You can teach it to know anything. And that means that once you have that capability, you can look at things at a scale like never before. Things that took us humans to do so long can be done much, much faster with the help of AI. Again, is it perfect? No. But it gets you to greater efficiencies one step at a time. And again, there are thousands of use cases once you have the model that knows the business, the brand, the tone of voice, the style, the solution. You don't need to start with thousands. Our recommendation is starting small, but starting now, because every single company in the world now is looking how and when and where to start applying AI. If you are not looking at that, then you're going to be behind. This is probably one of the most interesting things, and that's all based on real. It's not just made-up use cases. These come from top MNOs and enterprises worldwide. So first, and they are not listed in the order of priority, they are all equally important. It's just that every company has different objectives and different priorities. So data monetization is a topic that everyone in the MNO space is talking about and actually working on this. For those who are looking to monetize their data through marketing communications, that's applying to GenAI in a variety of ways. You can analyze data, you can create content that is tailored to specific audiences, you can do it for customer engagement and so much more. Customer support is getting to a totally new level, because the old-fashioned chatbots are no longer in place. We no longer need to follow the if-then scenarios. We no longer need to have predefined scripts. We can have an AI model that knows so much and everything that you wanted to know, and you can have an easy flow of the conversation. Knowledge retrieval may sound like a confusing topic, but I'm ready to bet that in a year or 2 years from now, it is going to completely change how we work with all sorts of information. This refers to your HR departments, your IT departments, anything. So instead of clicking through hundreds of pages or hundreds of documents or reading long PDFs, you would have an AI model that knows all of this information, and you can quickly ask a question or find something that you would be uncomfortable asking a coworker about. And you can A, find it quickly, and B, be comfortable about it. The marketing is one of the most popular use cases, and one of the one that is also frequently done wrong, because it is not just creating content for the sake of content, but the key opportunity here, and that's what also many companies are looking at, is bringing together data and marketing content, because AI lets you speak to every customer or to every segment of the audience in any way that you want. That's just one of the opportunities, content creation, and one of my favorite ones is also social listening. You can go so much beyond, more beyond than just understanding the sentiment, positive, negative, or neutral. You can, with the help of AI, you can dig deep into every single conversation, take analysis, understand the trends, just be able to do at a scale that is so much more. Data insights is linked to all of the above, because you have access to so much more, and you can expand and you can extract so much information. You can get the audience analytics at a very, very granular level. Conversational AI is also one of my favorite topics. So conversational commerce is probably something that we will be seeing finally take off in a couple of years from now, or in a year from now. You may have seen that Amazon already launched in beta their conversational search and conversational commerce. So instead of clicking through multiple pages and trying to find the product, a customer can quickly ask, I'm looking for green shoes with red laces, and then they would get to that page. And also continue the conversation again in a natural language and not with a chatbot-like experience. And that means greater engagement and much better results. And then there are, of course, all sorts of custom use cases that are dependent on the company goals and their product and what they do and what they sell. And then, of course, because AI new, there are things that just need to be taken care of. So first, and this is happening everywhere in the world, there are multiple siloed initiatives. So every department wants to do their own thing because they know best. And while it is obviously they do know best, but it is, especially with AI, because of the data privacy, because of the security, because of the importance of where exactly your information is going to, it is so important to make sure that there is a centralized way to control this and to make sure that everything is done in the right way. And then, of course, there is duplication of efforts and no policies. Many companies, I would say many companies, especially global companies, large companies, are introducing what we call an AI council, which is a centralized body that helps regulate everything. Think of it as a procurement function where you can do your own thing, you can buy your own thing, but you still need to go through the guidelines and procedures to be able to launch an initiative. This is super important. The change is hard because it is hard. And my prediction is that the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to see a lot of that change is hard sentiment everywhere. Because we need to adjust to new ways of working, and it's not a one-click adaptation. It means finding new ways to adapt. It means that it's not always easy. It means that people need to start working together in a new way as well. So, and then there is the fight or flight response. That is something that we are wired to be. So that's also super important. I would suggest once you start introducing AI in your organization, keep this in mind and handhold. Do the hand-holding, because this is super important. I'll skip to the adoption right now, because that goes hand in hand with the importance of change. It is adoption is way more important than just launching a product, because we have seen it over and over that there is a project that is done and then no one's using it because people are busy, they have other objectives, they have other priorities. So it is important to have a champion who drives not just the execution, but also the adoption. And that's, again, make sure that the change mindset is there in place. Data privacy. This is one of the questions that we keep getting all the time, because no one really understands what's that black box with AI. Where is all of the information going? Is it secure to upload my data? Is it secure to upload information? If you have that champion who is introducing AI, make sure that they do look at what exactly they are using, what kind of model they are using, where is their SOX compliance in place, is there, who has access to this, is your data used to train the models or not? And you'll be surprised once you start reading those privacy policies, where it goes and where it's kept. There are companies that are actually very good at this, that it is not going anywhere, but especially with open source models and with some of the other larger players, be careful. Take a look and have someone on your team who looks at this. IT guidelines, and I am absolutely supportive of the IT departments that want to make sure to get it right. However, from what we have seen is that IT sometimes slows down the process of AI adoption because they don't always know how and where to start, how and where to get started and what the guidelines should be. So if you are working on introducing AI in your company, make sure that IT involved from the very beginning, because you may end up spending months and months, and then it will all just hit the wall of IT and they will say, no, not going to work. So super important. So again, siloed, make sure that it is centralized and there is someone who is coordinating it, similar to procurement. Make sure that change, you have people who are making sure that the change and adoption is being taken care of. Data privacy, where your information is going into, and that IT is with you from day one. But all of this also takes us to the idea that AI now lets us get to a completely different level of getting the customer engagement at a totally new phase. With everything that I was talking about, with the scale and that you can teach AI everything, you can now, and again, I don't want to sound like we will, watch every move of every customer, but all with anonymized information and with the consent and everything, we can get so much more accuracy, relevancy, and signals that instead of going from one size fits all, we can become really granular. And I know we have been talking as the industry, as the world, about personalization for a very long time, but this is now getting to a completely different level. Not overnight, not tomorrow, but start paying attention in terms of how you can start looking at customer engagement at a completely new scale, and where exactly you can apply AI in your existing workflow and where the opportunities are. And one other quick thing. We are just at the very beginning. In the next 12 to 18 months, we don't really know, but there will be another major transformation. We all know that AGI is coming, artificial general intelligence, where the machines are much smarter than we are, and what it is going to bring, how this is going to be continuously changing the ways we work even more. My recommendation, if you launch some of the projects right now with the help of AI, make sure that you do not sign up for projects that are going to last for 2 or 3 years, because by the end of year 1, a lot of things that you are doing are going to be obsolete. With the speed of how AI is developing, it's super important to keep this in mind, that change is constant and technology evolution is constant. Have that AI champion who not only tells you about the data privacy and IT, but also keeps everyone informed about what's going on outside of all of the noise and all of the hype that often surrounds AI. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Marina. That was just when I thought I knew most things about AI, I'd learn everything again.
Okay.
But I think what's amazing is the speed of what's happening with AI at the moment. And you mentioned there, 12 to 18 months, they're going to be smarter than us, the machines, which is true. I think the rate that we're seeing AI technology advancing is just staggering. And I think events like this next year will certainly be seeing a lot more about AI. So we're just going to open the floor up for questions. But just while you're thinking, I read an article which this week, which I just wanted to share with you, which I just found really interesting. So there's a biologist in the US who's just received $33 million in investment for an AI startup. And the startup is to be able to communicate with whales. So the frequency that whales, we know that they communicate in that frequency. So they believe within the next 12 months that the human will be able to talk to the whale and the whale back to the human. But then it just got me thinking, well, what are the permutations of that? You know, I'll be able to talk to my dog maybe, or my children in their language, or even my partner, which is pretty scary. Well, hopefully she won't be able to fully understand me. I don't think anybody will. But anyway, sorry, I digress slightly. So do we have any questions from the audience?
This is Jeevithan Motu from Tomia Telerix. Thank you for the good presentation. Just a quick question. Out of the various different topics you covered where AI could be applicable, if you were to pick or share some of the GMS experience, like the top 3, where are you guys investing in terms of AI?
It's a great question. So I think the first one to look at is definitely customer experience and customer engagement, because there are so many opportunities that where there is so much different points that come together right now. So as I was saying, the customer engagement is getting to a completely new level. We are all customers as well. We are all consumers, and that we know how we want to make sure that the information that we interact with is relevant. Right now, we, again, as a world, is at the stage where there is more and more and more and more information, and the next natural phase is how to make sure that that information is relevant to what we interact with. So customer engagement in all sorts of things is number one. Number 2 is all things conversational AI, and that means what I was showing similar to conversational chatbots, conversational commerce, knowledge retrieval, and making sure that it is, again, not the old style chatbots where you have predefined answers and you can never get to the answer that you want. I had to call, I'm based in the US, and I had to call a store while already being here. I spent like 15 minutes trying to get to a representative, and it was terrible. So this is going away, so it's going to be conversational. And the third one is, I think, there is so much uncertainty still, and we need to be looking at what the opportunities are, because a lot of these opportunities will be coming from the customers, from the end customers, and also from the technology evolution.
Great, thank you. Was there a question there? Is it Claire?
Hi. Hi, Marina. I'm Claire Maslin. I'm from MEF. And I'm interested specifically around the conversational commerce piece and thinking about when users end up with AI. So we speak a lot about AI from a commercial perspective, but when AI gets into the hands of the consumer and into their wallets, their digital wallets, are we going to see a conflict? So a consumer could set their wallet to make a payment in a particular way, and through the transaction flow, you know, if a commercial entity isn't ready for that, are we going to see some tension there, do you think, between consumer AI and commercial AI?
Thank you. That's a great question. And honestly, I could use so much time talking about conversational commerce and conversational AI. I'm absolutely thrilled about the opportunity and what's coming next. I think there will be a natural evolution in terms of conversational and commercial, and the companies will need to adjust. It's just there is no other way. If you look at the numbers even now, in terms of the engagement that happens through different messaging or conversations versus the normal website app adoption, conversion and engagement, the difference is huge. So combining the two together is obvious and natural. That's one thing. The second thing is that the speed of life, the pace of life goes higher and higher and higher. People do not have the time to be looking for things. So again, the retailers, the merchants will need to adjust and will need to introduce that conversational experience. The brands, the sellers will also need to do the same thing. They will need to be able to adjust. And the commercial component within, I think it will be a natural evolution. I think there will be some tension and there will be some, process how it works. But because there is such a perfect market fit, everyone will have to, the adoption will be there. I don't have a single doubt about that.
Thanks, Marina. I think we've got time for one more.
I'm a little concerned about I'm Michael Becker, by the way, with MEF. At what point are we going too fast? Should we not slow down a little bit too and not always get to the answer so quickly?
I think about this almost every day, to be honest, and especially during the last 3 years since we started with AI. At some point, I cannot keep up. I need to keep up, but I feel that I cannot keep up. But then I realized that we as humans, we sort of regulated ourselves. It is not too fast. It's totally okay. So at least from my point of view. And I think that it is good that there is competition. I don't think that we are going too fast because even though there is so much noise, there is a lot of hype. And then there is the practical side of things. And when you look at the actual progress, there aren't too many companies and too many professionals who are doing that progress. There are maybe, I don't want to give any numbers because that would sound confusing, but people who understand what they are doing, I think they understand that, there needs to be a reasonable pace in place. I don't think that we're moving too fast.
And there's a lot of regulation coming into AI as well now. I think obviously because it is moving at such a fast pace, I think a lot of governments, etc., have recognized that. And now what we're trying to do is to put brakes in place just to make sure it's safe.
Yes, absolutely, and it is super important. I absolutely agree that it needs to be done. What we talked about in terms of the data privacy, where this information is going to, can it get to the hands of bad actors? My accent is Ukrainian. I care about, everything what's going on and how it can influence the wars and everything that's going on. So yes, the regulations are important. Even though the pace may seem too fast, it is going okay. We'll be fine.
Absolutely, indeed. Do we have time for one more question from the floor? Let me ask one question because we sort of touched on it a little bit there, but every time I get involved in conversations, debates, questions, the word singularity always comes up. And you and I will know what that is, just
yes.
Very quickly for everybody here. Singularity debate is, if you've ever watched the Terminator movies, it's that scenario where the machines take over, and it's a doomsday scenario that the machines start to attack mankind. That is one end of the scale. The other end of the scale is very much what we're talking about today, where AI is positive. It can benefit us in business, in our personal lives. So what's your thought on singularity in just a minute or two? Because we could stand here all day probably talking about that. So
this is, again, another topic that could take a very long time, but just a couple of key things. So it is an algorithm, right? So, but yes, it is getting better and better and smarter and smarter. And once we get to the point of AGI, we, again, as humans, are going to freak out a lot. It's going to take some time to adjust. But I also think it is that moment in time where it's just a huge, huge evolution step. There is a new book that has not been released yet, and I do not remember the exact name, but if you look it up on Amazon, you'll find it. It's written by Professor Ethan Mollick from Wharton School of Business, and the book is called Co-Intelligence. And he talks about how, for the first time in millions of years, we as humans actually got another intelligence, and how we need to learn to coexist with it, use it as co-intelligent partner, co-work with it, and so on. It is completely, speaking of change, it is a completely different mindset. It is something that needs time to get used to. Singularity, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I am looking at this one step at a time. But definitely sometimes I get scared with the responses that I get from the machine. And I was just sharing with Bruce, my partner, yesterday, that I think that it's actually already here. I think it's just that the computational power is not there yet to get it to scale, and that the quantum computing is not here, and the devices are not here yet. But the technology itself is really, really already good. Where it's going to get us, I don't know, but it's definitely going to change the way we live and work 100%.
100% agreed. And I think when I talk to people like yourselves, Marina, the experts in this, I think one thing for me that's very common feedback is that we will coexist. It won't be that the machines take over or the humans kill the machines.
Yes.
It will help us. That's where my beliefs sit right now. That may change, but right now I think it's just there. It's going to be there to help us and take away some of those mundane tasks, the things that we're not good at, things that a computer, a machine can actually do better than us and quicker as well.
But there is just one other fun thing that I would like to add. But even though we're taking it one step at a time, obviously we're looking ahead, and we have an internal joke in the company. Like when we are doing something, we would say, "Thank you," or "Can you please?" Just so that we put good marks when they do come over and take over. And then also from time to time, there would be a situation where we are looking at, okay, so how do we actually solve this issue? How do we explain to machine what needs to be done? And then someone finds that solution, and then an email or a message on Teams or Slack would go out to everyone saying, okay, so you need to know, so when the machines take over, you need to make sure that you speak in short sentences and you say this and you don't say that. And it's all a joke, but it's like,
A friend of mine said that they talked to their Siri or Alexa in a certain way, and it wasn't a nice way to talk, even to a machine. And it said the next day the machine was being a bit short with them in the responses, so the machine got a bit upset, so be careful. Okay, we are about to wrap up now, but thank you ever so much, Marina. That was very enlightening, and really enjoyed that session. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.